6 room, ready to be for 4 room.
This is different, man. Avec les Américains qui passaient la semaine ici.
Yeah, see this view, man? Shit, crazy.
So about the money that you owe me for the past 4 shows.
Bro, we're in Norman. You know how many Americans have died here?
You supposed to be here, nigga? Nigga, where you at, man?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
Need you to get me out of here.
What's up, Hip Hop Film Festival? My name is Louis Heimberg. We are so honored to be here. I'm the executive producer of Cabourg, and I am going to be moderating a short Q&A with some of the cast and crew. We have producer, lead actor extraordinaire, Mr. Alexander Britzner, and director, editor, jack of all trades, master of all of them as well, Orlando Gill, also known as Dito.
My brother.
And yeah, we're just gonna hop right into this. I'm actually glad I have you two for this first question because you guys were at the nexus of the question I want to ask you is walk us through your inception of this idea, because I know that you two specifically were, at the center of it.
I'll just start in that it was actually a very random and incredible experience in that I had booked a flight to France in February of 2019 just because I wanted to go out there for no reason other than to just leave the US for a little bit. And I found out a few months later that Alex and these other kids that were involved in the project, Juan, Femi, everyone that was involved, had also booked flights to Paris at the exact same time. And it just kind of seemed to work out. Me and Alex had been hanging out at his place in New York, and we were just getting along, nothing too serious. And then I think we all just decided that we wanted to work on a project because we were eager to just make art. And when we were all going to the same place, I think it just took a little bit of faith of Alex to just say, hey, you should join us on this project, Orlando, because we need help. And then we just started writing like a story and pulling from our own lives. We had like a videographer in our crew. We had a DJ. We had, all these components. So we just kind of started building a story that made sense for what we, based on the resources we had.
That's a great point. Alex, let me ask you a question that actually piggybacks off that. So when you guys sat down to write this story, what sort of themes did you keep in the back of your mind that you were hoping to portray and get onto the screen that were important to you? Anything that comes of note?
Right. I was part of this group of guys. I am part of this group of guys, friends, Senai, Juan, Femi, and me, and Teo and Dito now.
Yeah.
And I came up with, I had this idea of, a film that I wanted to do with all my friends. And, that was going to be not too hard to do. Just everyone's going to use their qualities and put it in the film, So everyone's going to be in character, and it was going to be not too complicated. We're going to be able to do something as a family and a group of friends. And then when I got Dito in, we came up with an actual story because I had this idea of a film, but it was not it wasn't constructive. I had these ideas that came up with Nazi Germany, hiding in the fucking basement, things that didn't make sense, Sure. So Dito kind of cleared me up on that, and
Alex put together a really great structure when he kind of conceptualized this story of a rapper and a manager and his DJ and videographer. But the original story was kind of a happy-go-lucky tale where they all have a good time and everyone's enjoying themselves. And I don't know, I just felt not uncomfortable. I just felt the quality of the story could be improved if there was some conflict, some drama. We knew we had this old man that was available on site as an actor, and we kind of saw that he was creepy looking. So we were all right, let's make this guy a murderer. And then as we started to get through the story, we realized that it could go even deeper. implicating the manager as the potential
Right.
Yeah, and I think that Dito's experience in general just like brought a lot of, it just cleared up a little bit the whole story, and he was able to help us a little bit into that because we didn't know much about it at first. So yeah.
Right, totally. Before we move on to other aspects of the film, I wanted to kind of really drive home, in my opinion, one of the most impressive things about this was how unbelievably small our budget was. And so when you got, and the short amount of time that you guys had to actually film this thing, let alone not having the opportunity to fly all the way back to France for reshoots. So curious about like what that was like when you had all these minimum resources, you had like the opportunity to get it done, and you knew you had to do it. So what was that like?
Regardless of how little or big the budget was, I was just grateful. I remember I was in Amsterdam one day before I was supposed to fly to Paris to do this, and I had gotten word from you and the other executive producer that they were both interested in investing. And I just, even if it wasn't a large amount of money, I just remember being so just grateful for the opportunity to just create something, because that's all we needed. I feel like a lot of times you build budgets and people are trying to like build in their rates, and people are trying to build in, extra costs. And I don't think we did that at all. We literally did the most bare bones budget. Like, food is going to cost us $500, and life is going to cost us another $750. And we brought all of our own equipment and camera gear and stuff. So we really bare bones it. And I think, we probably ended up investing, me and Alex, after the fact, a little bit more money, just because that's how it goes. But I just think that the experience was great because it just taught us how to do almost like a run and gun style, low budget guerrilla style movie. But a lot of people have said that it feels very like well shot, well cinematically like put together. And given the fact that we did it so short, it makes me optimistic about the future. If we have a little more time to plan and produce and get the actors in their lines and stuff like that, we can really make something great.
For sure.
Yeah, and we're super thankful that the production, excuse my French, was believed in us and actually helped us with a little bit of equipment. Not too much, but enough to make this happen.
Clearly worked out well. Yeah. So one thing that I think we absolutely have to talk about is the music. I think it's apparent for anyone who watches the film that the production value of the music is completely equal with that of the actual theatrical production,
if not
more. So what was it like? Walk us through the process of the emphasis you wanted to put on the music and the choices you made, and also importantly the collaboration within the team to contribute to the music, and the thematic messages it plays into the film itself, all of that stuff.
Well, you want to start, Dito? Because you had a lot of implication in the music. All right, I'll start. I think he's having.
Yeah, please, Alex.
Well, I mean, Lil Tecca was popping at that moment. I mean, he still is popping now, but he was.
Shout out to Lil Tecca, Virgo World.
So I know, but like his first song, was popping at that moment. So we wanted to use that, and Dito had the connections. He had worked with him in the past, so
we got him back.
So he had the connection with Tecca, and we had like he came up with that idea, putting that song first. Yeah, we thought it was a great idea. Then Senai is a DJ, and he did a lot of the music also, especially in that one moment that feels a little bit like a music video in the middle of the film.
Yeah,
that was his music, his beat. And then I brought in my French touch because I have I just know a lot of French music coming from France, and I thought that because this movie is in France, we should bring some more French music in, and yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right, is there any part of my question that you missed? I know that you.
I heard the whole thing. And then I think you were asking about the collaboration with the composer and stuff like that too.
Yeah, composer.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the more gratifying and engaging experiences of making this film, was working on the sound and the music, because obviously I love music to death. I work in the music industry, even if I'm a visual artist. It's just part of, what drives me. And when I found an opportunity to kind of create music, that was but still in a way that fell in line with my, my craft, my talent. I definitely want to continue to do that and do more music directing as like a, sound production and stuff like that. But it was a random experience where I was at a party in Paris one night, just out enjoying the night and talking to some random kid who just let me know that he was a sound composer for short films. It just happened perfectly the 2 days after I got back from shooting mine. So we became good friends. I went to his studio a lot and we worked on the composition, and I never really enjoyed something so much, like, trying to work on those moments where it's like scary and trying to like create a feeling, a sound from a synthesizer. Cause like he literally had like a synthesizer that creates music out of like wavelengths. So we were like testing different wavelengths and like different sounds and messing with different filters and this and that. And it was just like really special thing for me. And the whole overall like music selection was definitely like a collaborative effort. Like Alex said, Senai brought in his original beat, and he also, I remember at one point before we even went to film, he had this crazy idea to have like some classical French or some classical music in the film at some point as like a creepy way. And that's why during that scene where they're like playing golf, you have that music of like the classical music that turns into
famous.
So that was totally, I'll give Senai total credit for that idea, because that wasn't the thought originally, and I think that worked out perfect, because it's like this classic French music built in with like hip hop, and it worked really well.
That's awesome. So I want to take a moment to talk about the specifics of the plot itself. Personally, I think one of the really like the coolest part about this is the strong juxtaposition of Cabourg, this wealthy French beachside town, and the aura of this New York hip hop, and the way that they come together and contrast and also complement each other in some really cool ways. And I really love the line in which Les is asked, like, do you belong? Like, what do you do? Where are you from? What are you doing here? Do you belong here? It's like, I think it's really cool how we were able to transport this New York hip hop vibe all the way.
Yeah, I think that was part of the whole like reason why this movie, like the Hip Hop Film Festival, people said it's creepy, because it has like this very quaint, calm, like nice kind of aesthetic to it, and then you throw in this like angsty, youthful, urban like chaos into this perfect calm beach. It's like a really perfect juxtaposition between. That's almost exactly the point of why we use that old French song. It was like this quaint, calm, sweet like music. Then it flips in with like this like weird, like creepy sounds, and it all comes full circle to like have this weird dynamic. Yeah, I don't know.
And do either of you guys have any take on who did it, or if that question is relevant, or anything you want to speak on that? I've realized.
I mean, I think right before we submitted this, like finally, we were pretty clear that it was the manager that had killed people, but a lot of people didn't catch on to that fully. So we added these scenes right at the end, right before putting it out, which was like, kind of giving some indications that the manager killed him, giving you flashbacks to these moments where you'd see him in the position with the person that died. So that was kind of the point of that last moments where, but if y'all want to know, I guess it's up to you to decide. The truth is we wanted to write a story that made sense one way and made sense another way. Like Alex dies at the end, or the manager Asher dies at the end. So you're supposed to think that he's murdered, but there is a logical way in which he murders them and dies by his own hand. So it's kind of like up to your interpretation. We heard someone say recently that maybe they were in it together. So, there's a lot of plot points to kind of play on, but that's why I think people should watch it a few times and get like their own understanding of it.
Yeah, and when I came up with this idea at first, I really wanted to make sure, even though I was bringing in a whole bunch of new ideas, and I wanted to make sure that it was a whole common story. I did want to keep the fact that I wanted no answers at the end, that people were a little confused, that people were going to try to figure out what happened, but there was no clear answer at the end. And I wanted that to stick and stay, and it did. And people have different answers right now, and it's cool. I mean,
one thing I wanted to add.
Some people think it's me. Some people think it's Asher. Some people think it's George.
Yeah.
Some people think they were plotting together. Hey,
we needed that Coke money from China, right? So there's conspiracies in that regard. But one thing I kind of wanted to highlight from my experience specifically in this is that, when we had kind of brought it out and people had presented this question of like, who's the killer? And I was asking myself why this had come about without us realizing. And I came to the conclusion that it's the non-linear storytelling. Just like bring it down, the fact that we see Asher die halfway through the short. And then at the end, we're asked the question of who did it. I think the way that the story is told, which is kind of just taking different bits and pieces from different parts and putting it in a unique collage, really invites questions, controversy. And I think the real answer at the end of the day is that, it's up to interpretation, as Alex said.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that we live in there's multiple realities. And so there's a reality exists that Asher didn't lose his mind and kill his friends. And there's a reality that he did. And I really appreciated the idea of trying nonlinear storytelling. When we first started, right, I was pushing the boundaries. Well, we should try this. But when Alex was like, oh, let's do these flash forward things, I was like, whoa, hold up. From a director's perspective, this is really hard. How the fuck are we going to get people to understand that this is forward in time, backwards? So I really like that idea of nonlinear storytelling. It really, I think, added a lot of value to the robustness of the piece, but it definitely didn't help to clarify it. And I think that's, I don't know. I think that's one of the beauties of this film is that it's not simple. And as much as we had like a simple set, a simple, character kind of design, we really didn't want to make it a simple story that like anybody could just watch and like fully digest. I kind of think that we were interested in pushing the boundary a little bit so that people had to question what they watched, had to kind of watch it once and be like, did I just see that right? Even if that's not, I would say, the most lucrative or producer-friendly way of making a film. Sometimes people, the studios, it's got to be clear. There's no question. But like artistic, like kind of young people's film, and we really didn't want to do something that was like super simple and clear. It was kind of supposed to be like, yeah.
CR Capers asked us if this will be made into a feature, which is a great question.
It is a great question.
That's kind of the role of us as producers, is to see how we can extend the life of this great story. In my opinion, this is like a story that demands the audience's attention. You can't look away. It's a story that should be told. And, I can only speak for myself, but I'm sure you guys agree that we're really optimistic about the future for Cabourg, and who knows what.
Yeah, I think in the long term, a feature could be possible. We have to work a little more on the writing, take a little more time on that. A little more time on everything, and we would need more money. But
because one of the reasons why the death scenes are the way they are, it's because we had no money to do fake blood or special effects or anything. So one of the reasons why it's flash forwarded in certain parts is because we couldn't show the axe going through the kid or whatever. We couldn't show the pool stick being shoved through the guy. So we would have to just like do these flash forwards. But if we had, actual production budget, we could maybe do some pretty gnarly death scenes and stuff like that were pretty clear. And I think it would work. However, what I will say is about making this into a feature, my personal opinion is no, because we already put so much great authentic energy into this, and to try to recreate it would be impossible. However, there is a frick ton of amazing behind the scenes footage of us filming, of us having a good time, of us creating this. So I think that there's a possibility to do some like short form content of like how we made it, and giving more like opinions of like why we did certain things. I don't necessarily think we could do a feature, even though us as a group, this filmmaking group, we will be working on features and soon.
One day.
For sure, soon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We try to make it clear. I don't know if you read the interview we were on, but we try to make it clear that we are a group of creatives and a group of friends. First of all, a group of friends, and then a group of creatives. And I mean, there are ups and downs in being friends and creatives in the same time working together. It's not easy, but it's always going to be easier than working with people that you don't trust, or like that's how it is. So I think that we all like to work with each other, and we all believe in each other, and we all really enjoyed filming Cabourg and the whole process. So I think it does have potential for future films coming up.
Do you guys have any advice or insight for any hopeful filmmakers or people who are looking to take an idea and bring it to the screen? I mean, you guys are like a great example of, young aspiring creatives that were able to just take an idea and take nothing and make it into something.
I would say what I've done and has served me really well is don't take the opportunities that are put in front of you for granted. Like when I found out that Alex and the rest of the team were going to France the same time there was a question in my mind, like, should I push to be a part of this project? I knew I wanted to be, but that's just an opportunity like you can't take for granted. So I took the risk to say, like, I want to be a part of this. I want to do this. And that wasn't comfortable for me to do, but taking that risk and putting myself out there saying, I don't really know you guys that well, but I know that I can be of service and I know that I can do this, really goes a long way. And that's served me in a lot of my creative endeavors. It's just taking risks. The jobs that I have now have all come from just me putting myself out there, not worrying about, am I going to pay rent in 3 months or 6 months? Obviously you don't want to be broke enough that you can't pay rent that day or that month or something like that. But trying not to worry so far down the future, focusing on what's going on right now and really putting your energy and effort into it. Like I probably spent realistically over 200
hours.
Yeah, something crazy, like maybe 200 hours. And I'm not talking about like 200 days. I'm saying like 200 full hours on this project, which is almost embarrassing because I wish it was better for all the work that was put into it. But you really got to care. Like there was times where our files got lost, where the files got deleted. There was times where we were fighting, like me and the other director were fighting about dumb stuff, but like it just made it hard to continue the project. And I was like, come on, let's do it. And some people were like, bro, we're tired of this shit, and at the end of it, I was like, I'm tired of this too. So it's like you kind of really got to push and push and push. And that's why I'm thankful for you, Lewis, for believing in us, the other one for allowing us, and like the Hip Hop Film Festival, all the people that have written press, all the people that are watching this, sending in messages, questions. Like we really appreciate you because it validates all of those hours. It validates all of that difficulty, all of that stress, all of that like emotion. When you're an artist and you put your emotion into this stuff, and I believe I put a lot of emotion into this. Alex can tell you how like emotional I got about some of the things, so you really can't be afraid to do that. And it's going to be hard because so many people are going to tell you that you need to work a 9 to 5, that you need to stop chasing this dream. You need to stop. But like, I'm telling you, taking risks and really believing in yourself and recognizing not blind faith. You need to have like a little bit of skill set, of passion, but having faith that you'll work it out, even if it's in 6 months, that really goes a long way.
That's really well said. I just want to take a second. If there's anyone watching that has any questions, I know that we were talking with some of the guys in the tech department who were talking about some controversy in the office over the film. We're here to answer all your questions, so shoot them over now. We're going to be wrapping up soon. But
this is the most watched film on that scary movie. I watched some of the other ones, and I was like, I got a little scared. I had to like leave because this is like a thriller horror, but it's not necessarily like a scary movie kind of.
Yeah,
it's not scary.
No, but I don't know if we've got like an audience award situation, but if you're watching this, please give us some love. I just also I wanted to take a yes. Decidedly, this is a scary film to Black people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
First time we get to the house, like, hold up, no, let's leave. My favorite, a fun little tidbit that I will say that Orlando told me when they were filming. Towards the end of the film, we zoom in on this painting of what can only be described as like two Klan members just like galloping through a beach or something. And yeah. Orlando, it was really weird in the house, but Orlando saw that painting and really incorporated it into the story, and it's so creepy.
Yeah, that painting was supposed to
they're technically from Brittany, France, Normandy, but if you don't know, you could definitely think that they're clans.
That's what I was just like, what are they? What's going on?
Yeah, definitely.
And I want to say to the the Hip Hop Film Festival and this, because that comment, like we definitely appreciate it, and like our cast is pretty diverse, and and not just our cast, because literally our whole crew was incorporated in almost every step of this way. So like we definitely had some pretty great. I'm sad that nobody else is here from the team to give that insight, but I made a point, because like I got asked a bunch of this question a lot during interviews and during things like that. Like, is this film about race? Is this about that? And I would say, like, obviously when you're dealing with things like culture, hip hop, business, you can't escape those kind of like questions. But I personally, as a filmmaker, as an artist, really believe that in order to make a stand or a statement about something like that, you need more research. We need more people on board, more Black producers, Black director, something like that, where I'm going to feel comfortable saying, yes, we made a statement about how, people of color are treated in the music industry. I was basically trying to bring the story of like how I was treated in the music industry as like an expendable object, as a photographer, like just an expendable item. That was kind of like the intention behind the manager, was just being this expendable, like, we don't really care about you. And that could drive someone crazy. But then as we realized that like the other members were all people of color, and it was like, there's obviously there's crossovers, but I just want to, say that in order for me to feel comfortable being like, yes, we did this for this purpose, I want to have more people involved that bring, outside perspectives. Because I mean, I grew up in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. My father's Latino. I don't necessarily consider myself fully like a white boy, but I have to realize, check, and recognize my privileges and things like that. And I don't want to come across and say, yeah, we made the story about race and things like that, because I feel like that wouldn't do justice to the severity of the issue and like how important it is in our culture, especially as artists. That's literally our job, is to create things that push against the culture and create culture and destroy old culture. So, in order to destroy old bad culture, old bad white culture, I want to make something that I feel like has a lot of value and robustness to it. Yes, Alex, we all love you.
I mean, that face was made for the screen. Let's be real. No, but I just also wanted to say, to piggyback off of Orlando, that at least for me, it felt less of a stance and more of a celebration of the cultures that we grew up with. and things that we would just really love. And I think you could see that in just the authenticity of the dialogue. It's so hard to write dialogue that just feels so relaxed and between friends. And I think the only reason we were able to do that was because it was a group of friends, first and foremost,
Yeah.
Not one person played one role, and everyone had passion about it. And, it was just a group of people who cared a lot about something that came together to make something super dope.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of improv. Even though we did have a script, we did, like I said at the beginning, we really tried to stick to our own persons, except me. I mean, my character is not too me in real, just so you guys know. But my character was I think the most unrealistic to our own persons. But Femi was pretty close to who he is, even though he's not a rapper. Juan is a videographer. That's what he does, and that's what his passion is. And Sanai's a DJ. So we really try to stick to what we all do in real life and what we are all passionate about, and the way we express ourselves and the way we joke around, and just keep that. If we had to change the script, we changed it. It's that simple.
And thank you, Alex, by the way. I'll say this publicly. Thank you, Alex, for having enough, foresight and confidence in yourself to play an actor that you were not comfortable with. Because when we were to play a role, because when we were shooting, you were not happy, and you were not.
I was so unhappy. It was really a bad experience. I mean, it was a good experience. But shooting the actual shooting, I walked off at one moment. I don't know if you see it.
We actually put it in the film. It's right there.
In the trailer, you can see the Sanai, Juan, and Femi are hugging each other, and they walk off. And that's actually real. I actually walked off because I was like, "This is bullshit. I hate playing this character. I don't even understand why I have to." I mean, I'm an actor.
We are the directors. We're not trying to tell Alex this, but we were kind of trying to make it seem like he was a total outsider, so that it would make sense why he actually loses his shit and kills them. That's the only logical thought that I could come up with, was why would this guy murder his boss and his friend? You know what I mean? It was
but I think it's important.
He's an outsider. He's got to not be appreciated or respected, and even though he does really good work. So yeah, I know we're a little over, and sorry about that. And we've just, I don't know. I just want to say thank you again. You guys are hilarious. We love you all. We can't see any of you, but we're a fan club of you. We'll take you out to lunch, to dinner, whatever it is.
Please.
Come on, bring it in.
Don't get back to New York.
Don't get left out this hug. We don't want anyone to end up murdered. No one should end up murdered at the end of this film. So
no.
I know.
Let me apologize for the fact that it took us 2 times to get this going. That y'all were patient with us. That you brought good energy and good vibes. I really appreciate it. As we put a lot of work into this, so it means a lot.
Thank you so much. It means so much to all of us for you guys to show us some love and interest in this, this passion that we've all had for over a year now.
And then I'm gonna tell them to follow us. Follow us on Instagram.
Yes, please. I need that.
And it's really a great. I'm so happy that the festival that we did get was Hip Hop Film Festival, because I think it represents this film perfectly, and this film represents this festival perfectly. So I'm very proud and honored to say that we got into Hip Hop Film Festival and we did all this. Yeah.
And we're going to be watching every step of the way to see what happens with the GOAT Awards. I know, me personally, I've been watching a bunch of the stuff from you guys for this festival, but I'm just so thankful you guys give us the.
And if anyone has any questions, I know we're more than willing to have conversation privately, to message. literally, we have a website, which I think has a contact page as well. Please reach out. I mean, pretty busy. I'm in Los Angeles. Lewis is in Los Angeles. Alex is in New York. So if anyone's around,
I don't know if you
Cabourg Film. We're follow us on Instagram at Cabourg Film.
We're also selling posters right now. If you're interested, we have all posters on social media. If you saw them, we have.
Alex, do you have an example?
Photo
Do you have an example you can show the camera?
Yeah.
The website is cabourgfilms.com. That's CABOURGFILM. Much like this.
Yeah. So we're selling 4 posters. One is this. This is the main poster, but we also have. I mean, this one, and I mean they're all on social media. If you look, you'll see on cabourgfilm.com. We posted them. So if you want one, just DM the Instagram or send an email. And
that is the shirt from the film. That is the shirt.
Yeah, and I'm wearing the shirt, by the way.
Yeah, he's wearing the shirt. Oh man.
I mean, we really did everything ourselves. We brought our own wardrobe. Like half of my jewelry is in this film, and I lost half of it after, which is really upsetting. But it happens. We really, if you want to make something happen, you can't not go all the way. Because if we didn't have the outfits, this wouldn't have worked. So you have to do it all. Yeah. Thank you again, everyone that's involved.
You guys so much.
Here.
This has been like such an incredible experience. Again, shout out to you guys for this super awesome interface. Really impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been asked.
Check out some of our original content. We shot all of our own photos on set. Me and the assistant director shot all the photos on set.
San Jacinto and Orlando. Or what's your Instagram, Orlando?
Orlandito, yeah.
Yeah.
Orlandito.
But I'm saying, we really cared about this project. We put a lot of time, effort into the back end. We did our own photos. We did our own design, our own, we made the website. So if you have any questions or you want to build with us or you want to invest in our next film, please contact us because we're clearly moving on. We want to go to the next one. So that's why I want to say big thank you to the Hip Hop Film Festival so that I can put this amazing but stressful piece of work to rest.
And yeah, if you guys have any inquiries, you can reach us out. Me personally, lewis.heimberg@gmail.com, Lewis_Heimberg at Instagram. Will be, the back end has not stopped. We're gonna see where this thing takes us.
And I'm still acting if you want to cast me in something.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See ya.